Hello, welcome everyone back to the channel. It's your favorite amateur neighborhood Canadian, Canuck. You know why I'm an amateur Canadian and not a professional? Somebody asked me this on one of my prior videos. You know why I'm not a professional? I don't even say "eh" very much. Hey, what's going on, eh? Why did I say that with like a British accent? Hey, want to go down to Hortons? Grab some Tims? Hey, can you go down to Hortons and grab me a double-double, eh? Oh yeah, we're going to go play some hockey, eh? We'll see you later. I don't know what that's about. Eh? Yeah. I guess I do say "a" a lot. Like, I just wouldn't say it. I have to be speaking to somebody to say it. So, oh, that must be crazy, eh? Stuff like that. So that's why I'm an amateur and not a professional. You know, that's just the way it goes. Anyways, we got a video here about the suspension railway in Wuppertal. Wuppertal, story of a landmark. This is from Gernot Roots. And I know you said I pronounced your name wrong. So I don't know if like the Ger, so it's spelled Gernot. I don't know if that's Gernot. Like, is the T like that, or is it like a silent T? Gernot. Or is it like Gernot? Gernot Roots. Or Gernot Roots. I don't know. So I could be totally butchering that. In that case, all apologies from yours truly. All right, let's get to this. Hovering above the city, the suspension railway in Wuppertal. Why can't I say this word this morning? Wuppertal. Okay.
Hovering above the city, heavenly in sky blue.
What?
It's unique.
Wait. Right, I've seen these before. And weren't they like designed like, okay, first off, a feature or a feat of German engineering and ingenuity, and weren't these invented in like the 20s or constructed in like the 20s? Let's see. This is obviously the history and the story of the thing, but that's incredible. Like, just the visual of the thing is so futuristic, and yet
heavenly
we've gone back in time.
in sky blue. It's unique, extraordinary,
What?
in daily operation for more than 100 years.
More than 100 years? Are you, gosh darn, are you kidding me right now? And why don't we have more of these? Look at the thing. It's incredible.
And it's the city's landmark, Wuppertal and the suspension railway.
Wuppertal.
Inseparable.
Wuppertal.
What prompted the people of the Wupper Valley to come up
The people of the Wupper Valley.
with such a newfangled mode of transport? Let's look back to the turn of the 20th century. The neighbouring cities of Barmen and Elberfeld, with a combined population of over 300,000, belonged to the biggest industrial areas in the German Empire, bigger even than Cologne or Düsseldorf. It was getting crowded in the narrow river valley, but the expansion possibilities for additional traffic were limited. The solution to unclogging traffic came from Eugen Langen.
Eugen Langen. Shout out to him. There's been a lot of comments on, I think, a few of the transportation more oriented videos, or when we're talking about transportation in not just Europe but Germany, and how it's different than what we have here in Canada, and how I think I made comments like, oh, it's not economically viable. And I admittedly am kind of spouting a few like talking points. It's just like in our current, it's not that it's not economically viable. It's that there were interests and powers when at the time that it could have been economically viable and sound, it could have been done, and we could have had amazing transportation and railway systems all across the country. But now there's so much infrastructure which inhibits that even happening. There's so much infrastructure interests which wouldn't even let that happen. So I think it's not so much that it's economically not viable, it's that there's too many of the elite class that would not let that happen because their interests would suffer.
Inventor, pioneer, visionary. After some trials and a test installation, he obtained the patent for his engineering masterpiece called the suspension monorail system.
That's friggin' awesome. That's awesome.
The model also impressed the council members of the neighbouring cities on the Wupper River, and they decided to have it built. In only 5 years, the workers and engineers constructed this transport sensation.
Just 5 years? If they tried to build this now, if they tried to build this now, I mean, I'm talking about like Canada, it would probably take them 7 years and it would be half finished.
In October 1900, the Kaiser and his wife came to see firsthand this engineering wonder and were very pleased. After their ride, they commented that it was both practical and pleasant. Only 1 year after that, the dignitaries of Barmen and Elberfeld proudly presented the construction to the public.
That's amazing.
Since then, these two cities have been incorporated into the modern city of Wuppertal. But a remnant of those early days is still in operation. The carefully restored Kaiserwagen can be booked for a nostalgic ride, hovering 12 meters above the river. With its 468 supports and bridges along the 13.3 kilometers long route, the suspension railway is the steel backbone of the city. If you ride it, you will also pass the city's historic landmark.
It looks so cool. Like I'm at a loss for words. I'm thinking like retro futuristic. It's like futuristic yet has a really interesting architectural design, which is obviously older, but at the same time it has that futuristic dimension to it. So very, very cool. What?
Well,
what is going on here? What is this like?
And up to 65,000 passengers were being transported each day. Reliably
That's incredible. It looks like something out of 2001: A Space Odyssey. Like,
and without problems. Well, not all.
just need some Blue Danube in the background. Dun 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun.
Always, there were some incidents. In July 1950, the Zirkus Althoff had a splendid idea for a spectacular publicity stunt. The elephant Tuffy will ride the suspension railway. But that was
What could go wrong?
too much for the little elephant lady. She pushed open the door and fell into the Wupper River.
Oh my god!
Luckily, no one was hurt, and the little elephant was rescued from the Wupper.
She got yeeted out of the... Oh my... What? I was not expecting that. What an incredible story. I'm sorry. I thought of if anybody's seen The Room. What a story, Mark. But geez, no, I didn't expect that. That's almost like Stranger Than Fiction type of thing, right? That's a Stranger Than Fiction type of story, right? Wow.
No one was hurt, and the little elephant was rescued from the Wupper.
Elephant Tuffy.
But not all accidents had such happy endings.
Oh no, people died, I'm
In
sure.
1968, a truck knocked over one of the supports and 2 bridges fell on the street. No one was hurt here too.
Oh, wow.
But in 1999, a tragic accident occurred in which a train plunged into the river, leaving 5 passengers dead. Not because of...
How did it happen, though? That's what I was... Now that I see the first accident where a truck ran into the pillar, that would be an obvious hazard for me. And if those pillars weren't strong enough to survive a direct impact from a tractor trailer, like that's a pretty big issue, right? Because, you know, accidents happen, and you can't have the monorail falling down, just like, because those support pillars are kind of in harm's way.
Of technical problems, but due to human failure. A forgotten mounting clamp left on the rail.
Damn.
Never.
That's how it usually happens, right? It's usually just a human failure. It's, you know, there is mechanical failures, but even most aviation accidents, like it's usually a mistake by the pilot. Most accidents, you know, industrial accidents and things like, it is like it's human error. So it's sad, but it's that's us. That's the human species.
Nevertheless, the suspension railway is still the safest means of transport worldwide. Since 1972, the trains of wagon series GTW72 characterize the cityscape. Popular and reliable. There's a German saying, "Old love never rusts." But is that true? All those years left their mark on the old lady. The stations became dark and unattractive. The structure was getting more and more rusty. What to do? Renovate 2017.
They do look incredible.
But the designers and engineers had even more in mind. They wanted to make a better design, not merely a new one. Due to silent rails and wider curves, the suspension railway travels more quickly and quietly from station to station. All stations have become much more attractive. They are brighter, transparent, and handicapped accessible. About 170,000 square feet of glass surfaces have been used for the stations. But they didn't want...
Yeah, public transport is really such an important aspect of city planning and just keeping communities connected. If you don't have good public transit, then, you know, your city is going to suffer, your economy is going to suffer, your communal spirit's going to suffer, and social cohesion is going to suffer. So it's really important to have really good public transit. I find that Vancouver has pretty good public transit, but me personally, I don't really I'm not the biggest fan of public transit because I've mostly lived in smaller towns my whole life, so I've always had vehicles to drive around. But yeah, it's definitely important in a more metropolis setting.
Want to part with the beautiful old Army War stations. With the same demands for comfort and safety,
Look at
3
that.
identical stations were built according to the historic model. The new train depot in Oberbarmen has also been built according to the original plans. With the turning loop moved forward, the trains can change over to the other track faster, which means they are equipped for shorter cycle times in the future. The new control center has also been upgraded. A state-of-the-art digitally controlled safety system is in place.
Looks like a dispatch center where I work. You know, so many monitors.
The old trains were so popular that they were given away by the utility company in a competition. Today they serve as stage, meeting point, or bistro. a new life after hovering above the city. The 31 new wagons are not only nice to look at, they are also really fast. At up to 60 kilometers per hour, they speed through the city, controlled by the driver in a new kind of cockpit with touch-sensitive displays. Investments were made not only in technology, but also in comfort. With a new ventilation system, comfortable seats with fabric covers and a large panoramic glass window in the rear. This window is the highlight of the new wagon generation and the most popular place to sit for a
Well, Gernot, you would have had a good trip.
unique traveling experience. A lot has changed since that maiden voyage more than 100 years ago. But one thing is still the same. The suspension railway is the most reliable and popular means of traffic in Wuppertal.
Like, it's super aesthetically interesting, right? It's like out of a science fiction aesthetic, but from like the 1900s or late 1800s. It's really cool.
Up to 80,000 passengers are hovering daily above the river.
Wait, how many?
1,000 passengers are hovering
18,000?
daily above the river.
Wait, just 18,000? I thought it'd be more.
Is the most reliable and popular means of traffic in Wuppertal. Up to 80,000 passengers
80,000.
are hovering daily above the river through the city.
Wow.
You can only do that here. The suspension railway, the landmark of the city. And we call it Schwebebahn.
Schwebebahn. Schwebebahn. All right. Very cool. Very interesting aesthetics. It's like that cyberpunk. It's very, very, very interesting. And it's definitely a landmark and a memorable place for that city of Wuppertal. I like it. I like it a lot. I want to ride on there someday, maybe. Yeah, just an engineering feat, and it's crazy that it's been. So if I understand correctly, there's pieces of the system that are still over 100 years old, or did they totally add, re-infrastructure the existing track? I'm not sure, but very, very cool in any event. All right, we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.